So let's hook up the tubing first. On a regular EX1000, we have a tube that feeds from the carbon filter to the membrane. We're going to remove it and put it aside. We're not going to use it anymore. So let's do that. That can go off to the side. I want to open up my tubing kit. Now the 1/2 inch tubing is the feed, the low pressure side, which is going to feed the input of the pump. You simply insert that into the carbon filter output and take the other end and put it to the input of a 6010 pump. I'm going to cut the tubing right there and show you. For the sake of this demonstration, cut it about this short. And insert it right in there. Now the high pressure side of this assembly is the 3/8 side, the 3/8 port on the 6010 pump. So what we're going to do is take this fitting off, put 3/8 tubing in there all the way, and take another piece, cut it about the right length, now I got my 3/8 to 1/2 inch reducer. I'm going to put that on the 3/8 line and insert it into the membrane housing input. That adapts this 3/8 line to this 1/2 inch fitting in the membrane housing that the unit comes with stock. When we increase the water pressure here, smaller tubing can handle higher pressures. So we reduce the tubing size to 3/8 because we are going to up the pressure to up to 150 psi. So the last step is to hook up these high pressure clips. The first, I'm going to do it on the high pressure side. And how we do that is just pick up on the tubing after it's seated and slide the clip in between the collet and the fitting. Make sure it fits in the groove all the way, nice and snug. I'll do the same thing over here. Make sure the tubing's in all the way, then you can pull it out a little, create a little gap, slip the high pressure clip in. Just like so. Then just give it a final little push in. You don't need high pressure clips on a stem fitting, just on a tubing connection. And you also really don't need them on the low pressure side, but we give them to you and you can put them in anyways. And it doesn't hurt. So let's do that. Pull up on it. Slide the tubing in and push it in. And there's it on the low pressure side. And I'll do the same over here. Just pull it a little. Create a gap, and then insert the clip, and give it a final push in. So that's all there is to plumb up a 6010 pump to an EX1000. The procedure is the same for a GX1000. It's the same for a GX600 and an EX600 as well. All the same procedure, all the same size fittings, tubings, high pressure clips. Now when you mount a 6010 pump, you generally want to mount it on the wall. You want to mount it above the RO membrane, not down here where a leak is going to leak on a pump, because it's 120 volt AC mains. You don't want water on it. When you mount it to a wall, and we're going to show you later, you can reference the video, the EX1000 Deluxe installation and setup, and you'll see us mounting an aluminum panel. But you don't want to mount the pump like this, where if you had a leak up here in the water section would drip on the motor. You want to mount it sideways or even upside down, so that any water will drip down and not on the electrical. Sideways is one of my favorites, with the adjustment nut on top. Yeah, follow all your local plumbing and electrical codes when operating a 6010 pump with a water filter. They are, it's 120 volt mains AC and then high pressure water. It needs to be done preferably by a licensed electrician or plumber. Okay, so the power is off on the control box. The BP6010 is hooked up, and now I'm just going to hook up the mains supply, 120 volts. The piggyback cord, once again, it will be live when this power switch is on, and that's for turning on the solenoid valve, which we use in the front. It's our electric shutoff kit. That's there if you want to use the electric shutoff kit. And so this pump will not come on until water pressure comes through it and enables the low pressure switch. So let's do that. and we heard the switch click. So if we look on the front of our water filter, we'll see we're at about 52 pounds of pressure. A 6010 pump needs about 30 pounds of pressure to keep that pressure switch activated. So 52 is a good spot. Now, the pump comes with an adjustment screw on the side for adjusting the output pressure. It's going to ship with it all the way down. To turn it up, we simply insert the screw into the side of the acorn nut here and turn clockwise to raise the pressure. You can read that pressure on the output gauge of the pump. You can read the incoming water pressure for a 6010 pump on the leftmost gauge of either an EX1000, EX600, or GX600 and GX1000. The leftmost gauge is the pressure leaving the pre-filters entering the pump. So here is really your feed water pressure to the pump. There can be discrepancy between the two gauges depending on the incoming water pressure and how clogged the pre-filters are. So when you're referencing what pressure is running a 6010 pump, it's the leftmost gauge up here. Right now we're about 52 psi. And all that's left for me to do at this point is be ready to adjust the output pressure according to the gauge here and turn the pump on. And there we go. I watched the output pressure climb. I'm at about 140 psi right there. Now, I can come around and simply turn this up by turning it clockwise to 150. Now if I look, my incoming water pressure is about 58 psi. And that's about it. Your BP6010 is running 150 psi. You just doubled your water flow.